so much time focusing on all the bullshit that we have no control over and ignoring the stuff that we have a direct impact on every single day. That's a problem. That's why people are so wound up. Is President Trump a disaster for the United States? Well, in my opinion, yeah, it pretty much is. But is him being president, is it affecting how I get to work every day or how my job goes every day or whether or not I have a job at the end of the day? No.
Not yet.
So why would I want to spend all this time and energy focusing on his ass when I need to be focusing on my ass? And how much ice cream I have to make it soothed after a day at work. And I think that's where we've disconnected ourselves from what's really important.
Honestly, I look at my views on this. I'm concerned about my roof.
You have a roof?
Yeah, floor and four walls too.
Oh, cool.
Or at least I hope. Yeah, that was kind of the hope. But I focus on that, my food, and hopefully my promoter's still alive when I wake up the next morning.
Right, so those are things that
I don't have a job.
Yeah, but those are things that actually affect you every single day. As opposed to, like, President Trump, who doesn't really have a direct impact on your life on a daily basis. And people don't seem to differentiate that. So they spend all of their time shouting in the wind about President Trump for or against and not taking the time to pay attention to, okay, I've got to pack myself lunch for work today or I'm going to starve. By lunchtime, I'm going to be so hungry. That kind of thing.
Well, and I wonder if that's and this is just pure conjecture on my point, but I wonder if the people that are thinking only about their families and their day-to-day life, if those are the people that basically are like, you know what, I don't either have time to vote or I'm too disenfranchised to vote or I don't want to vote because it's not going to impact my daily life.
No, I don't think that's...
You don't think it's related at all?
No, I don't think it's related.
Huh.
Because you have a lot of people that go out there and vote that don't pay attention to their daily lives. That are out there voting for Donald Trump because he's going to make America great again without understanding exactly what Donald Trump actually is going to do.
Well, I'm sure they'll figure it out eventually.
They care more about putting an orangutan in the Oval Office than they do about actually making their community better.
Or voting party line or whatever.
Well, it has nothing to do with voting. It has to do with focus. They're focused on one guy who they think is going to make America great and ignoring the fact that to make America great, we need 325 million Americans to step up and do the job. And that's where we have the disconnect.
Now, my question, in all reality, how are we going to make America great again?
I can give you a list if that would help.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so number one, we can start worrying about what's best for our people. Okay, we can start focusing on what's best for our people, all of our people, as opposed to specific people like, the rich. And start focusing on what's better for our communities, what makes our nation stronger from the bottom up as opposed from the top down. We can start focusing on innovation in our country instead of sending things overseas and letting other people beat us to the punch for a profit margin. We can start doing what we did during the space age and actually make our own way. We can start building communities, cutting out the whole political aspect of our communities, make people understand that we're neighbors and friends as opposed to Democrats and Republicans. We can concentrate on educating our young people, making sure that if they want a higher education, they're not going to be in debt for the rest of their lives for it. Making health care available for everybody as a right as opposed to as a profit. Making our veterans a very top priority to make sure that those that have sacrificed their all for our country are not left with nothing, hanging out in the middle of nowhere with problems and issues that are not getting solved. There's a whole list of shit. That's just the top of the iceberg on that one. But we're never going to get any of that kind of stuff done as long as we focus on political instead of community building. But that's just me.
Oh yeah, that's a big start.
And
how is
making
that
sure
all
that
gonna
bacon
match
is available
to what we're looking at?
for everybody that wants it. That is a very big, important platform item on
Well,
my
there's
campaign.
a lot of people that won't eat bacon, so that leaves more for the rest of us. So there.
Yeah, well, there is that.
Bacon is good. I will take bacon.
Yeah, I had to throw the bacon thing in there because it's just important. As a matter of fact, there's bacon defrosting in the fridge right now for breakfast tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, I know. I can't help it. I'm a meat eater. I'm bad. I'm a bad person. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of things that we could do to actually change the way our nation works and how our nation views each other. It doesn't take rocket science to work together. It doesn't take rocket science to stop being political and start being humanitarian, treating each other as the same, giving each other the same rights and respect. But a lot of people don't want to do that because that takes away from their ideology, their religious beliefs, their backgrounds, or what they believe based on bullshit. So, don't know how that's going to work.
Well, it's a hell of a question, really.
And this is that moment of silence that happens every 20 minutes or so.
A moment of silence.
Where everybody just pauses for a moment and says, yeah, that's fucked up. Or, yeah, that's kind of cool. Well, we could do that. But yeah, I think that we as a nation need to stop focusing on hate and fear and start focusing on working together and the future of our nation.
But that takes work and
Yeah,
thought.
I know.
And
Work and thought and actual facts and stuff.
taking hate and stereotypes and shoving it in a closet someplace. I mean, seriously.
I don't think it needs to be put in a closet. I think it just needs to be put down. I think we are to the point now in the 21st century where we should be able to get around it. And we should be able to move ourselves past that kind of crap. And we just have not been able to do that, apparently.
Well, it's because we're the age of, oh, I don't want to be labeled, but, oh, hey, wait, I want to tell you exactly what I am. Well, what the fuck? You just put yourself out there and ostracize yourself. Why can't we just all be people?
There.
What's that?
Kind of contradictory right there.
It is kind of contradictory, and that's what's so aggravating. Oh, we want equality. We're this, we're that. Well, can't we just say we're all humans? How can you say that you don't want to be labeled, but yet you feel like you have to label yourself? I don't want to sound insensitive, but I don't get it. It's kind of like we're this close to being a paperless society, but we have to cut down 10,000 more trees to make more paper. I mean, it's
or we could grow
stupid.
hemp and grow paper.
But I mean, seriously. Oh, don't label me. Oh, I'm this. And then if you don't call them exactly that,
I'm not this.
And it changes like weekly. People get all butthurt, like, well, I'm this, I'm not that. That was so last week. Well, don't expect me to keep up with your fucking
That
shit.
was so last week. What, have you been watching Clueless again?
No, but I mean, I'm serious. I just don't understand it. I think some people that are having issues, I think some of them are actually kind of not creating the issues, but compounding them and making things actually more complicated than they need to be.
Yeah, I think that in the United States, we complicate shit just above board.
And we're way too fucking PC and too
soft. Don't
Not
go
that,
there.
not
I
that?
don't think so. No, I think that we just overcomplicate things to try to placate people. I don't think it has to do with being over PC. I think that's an excuse. Everything's too PC. Is it? Is it wrong? And is it too PC to be polite to somebody because they're different?
Oh no, but if you refer to somebody as one way and you're meaning it in the most endearing, respectful way, but you're a little bit off and you get corrected, it's like, well, actually, no, I'm this.
Well, that has nothing to do with being PC. That has to do with individual identity. Okay.
Uh-oh.
But I think the whole concept of being too PC is an excuse on allowing people to be racist and be a bigot and be religiously discriminated against and this, that, and the other. I think that it's an excuse. I think it's bullshit. I think that we can treat each other with respect without having to be labeled PCs or whatever if we really wanted to. And the whole it's too PC is just an excuse to get around that. That's just me, though. And our dog is being weird in the background, by the way.
Careful.
Poor doggy. You hurt his little leg today, so he's moving really weird. Poor boy. So, but yeah, it's I don't think the PC thing. I think that's just an excuse. I think that's just a blow off. I think we should concentrate on just being nice to each other because we're all people, and not have any labels or anything built into it.
Saying PC is a nice way of saying you have to admit people are a little bit too sensitive these days about everything.
Being PC and being too sensitive is a personal choice. Okay, if somebody calls me a short, fat, bald guy, if I take offense to it, that's my decision.
Oh no, I'm short, vertically challenged. I mean,
I never say that.
No,
I always say
that's
short,
what I'm
fat,
saying.
bald guy.
That's what I think the whole.
Well, no, that's the
PC
complication
thing.
No, that's complicating it. That's turning one comment into 15 different realities. Okay. The idea is if I consider myself a short, fat, bald guy, then to me, that's my reality. And if people want to try to change that label, that doesn't change it for me any. It doesn't have anything to do with being politically correct. It's just that's the way I refer to myself. You know, if Peter calls me a cracker at work, that's not necessarily PC. That just means he's being an asshole.
Right.
That's a choice that he's made. So being less PC or more PC is irrelevant if he's just an asshole. So
I just think we're all too sensitive these days.
Well, I'm not saying that we're not too sensitive, but being too sensitive and being too PC, two different things. Okay? Being too sensitive means you take offense at whatever you feel is offensive, whereas being too PC is not the same thing, because political correctness has to do with labels, not feelings. So being offended by something is a feeling. It's a feeling reaction.
No, that's
Whereas
true.
a political correctness thing is not calling, a person a certain name because it's not politically correct. There's a difference.
No, I mean, I get that, but it would be like somebody at work saying, God, that Kara chick, all she does is fuck off. Oh, you're just saying that because I'm a fucking woman. I mean, that kind of whole, just everybody's just so wrapped up in their own little, I don't know, it's like nobody can be happy unless they're miserable. I just don't know how else to make sense of it all.
Well, it's simple. It's people choose to be offended about things. Okay, if somebody calls me a name, how I react to that is my choice. Okay, I either react to it by ignoring it, or making fun of them for making fun of me.
Well, you consider
or
the
being
source.
offended by it. Okay, no, it's just a personal choice. Okay, if somebody calls me a short, fat, bald guy, if I take offense to it, that's my choice to take offense to it. I don't have to let somebody. I don't have to give somebody else the responsibility of my emotions. Okay, those are mine. So, calling somebody an asshole. If you take offense to being called an asshole, then that's your choice. If you don't take offense to it, then it's not a big deal, and it's still your choice. So, it comes down to personal choice. Do we get butt hurt over the stupidest shit? Well, of course we do. A lot of people get butt hurt for stuff that they should not get butt hurt for. But we can't designate that as being too politically correct because somebody makes a personal choice to be offended by something. I'm not offended if somebody calls me a short, fat, bald guy. I don't give a shit. They're the ones that are assholes, not me.
Right.
So it's not politically correct for me to say, oh, and get all offended about it, or it's not politically correct for me to say, fuck you, I don't care.
But terminology changes, and I'm not trying to piss anybody off here, but
Yeah, you are.
back in the day, it was
Which day?
In TV shows, in real life, it was actually acceptable to basically say, God, you're a retard. These days, oh no, you're mentally challenged, or you're this. The terminologies change. The
Well,
problems
that's because
and
the perception of the causality has changed. Okay? 40 years ago, the term retard did not have to do anything with a student that was slow at learning or that had some sort of infirmity or whatnot. A retard was somebody that was thick 30 years ago.